Welcome to Watch to Get Rich, where we explore the secrets of wealth and success. Today I'm sharing 11 thought-provoking stories inspired by Jewish wisdom. Stories that reveal how unconventional thinking can turn small amounts of money into fortunes. Let's find out. Story 1. Thinking differently about problems. In the bustling financial district of New York City, a sharply dressed man walked into a prestigious bank. His tailored suit, luxurious leather shoes, and diamond-studded tie exuded wealth. He approached the loan officer's desk confidently and said, "I'd like to borrow $1." The loan officer, intrigued yet puzzled, asked, "Sir, may I inquire why you need such a small amount?" The man smiled, placed a folder on the desk, and replied, "Sure. Here's $500,000 worth of stocks and bonds as collateral. That should suffice, right?" The loan officer nodded, still baffled, and processed the unusual request. After the transaction was complete, the banker couldn't help but ask, "Sir, forgive me, but you have significant assets. Why borrow just $1?" The man chuckled and replied, "Well, I've done my research. Your bank's interest rate is only 6% annually. For 1 year, that's 6 cents for $1. Storing my stocks in a private vault would cost me hundreds of dollars. By securing this loan, I'm effectively using your bank as my vault at a fraction of the cost." The banker was left speechless, realizing the brilliance of the strategy. The wealthy man had leveraged the system in a way few would consider. Lesson. True innovation lies in viewing challenges from a unique perspective. Where others see obstacles, creative thinkers find opportunities to save or gain. By challenging conventional practices, you can uncover smarter, more efficient solutions. Story 2. The Only Beggar in Town. In a small, bustling city, a group of beggars gathered in their usual spot to share dreams and aspirations. One said, "I wish to be rich and live in a mansion." Another chimed in, "I wish to marry a wealthy person who will take care of all my needs." They laughed and cheered each other on. Then a quiet voice interrupted their chatter. It was the lone Jewish beggar who said, "I wish to be the only beggar in this city." The group turned to him, confused. "Why would you wish for that?" they asked. He explained, "If I'm the only beggar, every kind-hearted person in this city will have no choice but to give me their charity. I won't have to compete or share donations with anyone else." Over time, the Jewish beggar's words proved prophetic. While the other beggars fought for scraps and remained stuck in their ways, he positioned himself in a prime spot, creating a niche that allowed him to stand out. Before long, he saved enough money to start a small business, leaving the streets behind entirely. Lesson. Success often comes from identifying untapped markets and fulfilling unmet needs. Instead of competing directly, focus on creating a unique value proposition that sets you apart. Innovation isn't always about doing more, but about doing things differently. If you like the content I share, please do not hesitate to give me a like, share, and subscribe button so that I have more motivation to bring you more attractive and practical content, accompanying you to achieve financial freedom and wealth. WAG Story 3. The Millionaire's Dog. A frustrated man burst into a pet store, dragging a large German shepherd on a leash. He angrily confronted the Jewish store owner. "This is the watchdog you sold me. Last night, a burglar broke into my house and stole $200. This dog saw everything and didn't bark once." The shop owner, calm and composed, smiled and said, "Ah, I see. Let me explain. This dog was raised in the home of a millionaire. To him, $200 is nothing worth barking about." The man stood in stunned silence, slowly realizing the irony. The watchdog's perspective was shaped by its environment. What seemed like a significant loss to the man was trivial from the dog's conditioned viewpoint. Lesson. Perspective matters. Tailor your solutions and expectations to the unique backgrounds and contexts of those involved. Not every rule or approach works universally, and success often requires adapting to individual circumstances. Story 4. The Farmer and His Chickens. A farmer's flock of chickens began falling ill and dying mysteriously. Desperate to save his livelihood, he turned to his neighbors for advice. One neighbor suggested feeding the chickens wheat instead of corn. Another recommended giving them warm water instead of cold. Day after day, the farmer tried every new piece of advice, but the chickens continued to die. Soon his once thriving flock was reduced to just a few birds. He rushed back to his neighbor for help, only to hear, "Oh, I had so many more suggestions to share." In his desperation to save his chickens, the farmer had forgotten the importance of sticking to proven methods and understanding the root cause of the problem. His constant experimentation led to his downfall. Lesson: rapid, constant changes without focus can be detrimental. Stick to core strategies that have worked before and make adjustments only when backed by evidence. Avoid becoming a victim of trial and error decision-making. Story 5. The Entrepreneur in Prison. 3 men were sent to prison for 3 years. Each was allowed to make one request to help them cope during their sentence. The American prisoner, a smoker, asked for 3 boxes of cigars. The French prisoner, a romantic at heart, requested a beautiful companion. The Jewish businessman, ever practical, asked for a phone to stay connected to the outside world. 3 years passed, and the prisoners were released. The American stumbled out of the prison coughing and desperate, crying, "Someone, please give me a match." He had spent 3 years with cigars, but no way to light them. The Frenchman emerged with a woman and 3 children in tow, visibly exhausted by his makeshift family life. Finally, the Jewish businessman walked out of the prison, well-dressed and calm. Shaking the warden's hand, he said, "Thank you for the accommodations. During my time here, I expanded my business, increased my profits by 300%, and arranged for a car to pick me up." Lesson: smart choices shape your future. While others focus on short-term desires, thinking ahead and staying connected to opportunities can lead to remarkable growth, even in challenging circumstances. Story 6. The Value of Money. In a bustling ancient marketplace, 3 Jewish merchants paused to reflect on the nature of wealth. One of them asked, "What is money to you?" The first merchant replied, "Money is survival. It puts food on the table and clothes on my back." The second said, "Money is power. With it, I can influence people and build my reputation." The third smiled and said, "Money is a mirror. It reflects who you are and what you stand for. It can reveal greed, but it can also build generosity and integrity." This philosophy is deeply rooted in Jewish culture, where money is seen as a tool to build both material wealth and moral character. A famous story tells of King Solomon, who identified a thief by observing who obsessed over wealth in a parable. When asked about the characters in the story, only the thief focused entirely on money, revealing his guilt. Lesson: money is a reflection of character. Use it as a force for good, and it will enrich your life beyond material gains. Focus on building values that align with your financial goals. Story 7. The $1 Lawn. A young boy named David noticed a sign outside a neighbor's house that read, "Lawn mowing, $1." Though it seemed like a small amount, David saw an opportunity. He knocked on the door and offered to mow the lawn every weekend. An elderly woman answered and said, "Are you sure, dear? I can only pay $1 each time." David smiled and replied, "That's fine. I'll do my best to make your lawn look beautiful." Every week, David diligently worked on her lawn. Over time, his hard work impressed not only the elderly woman, but also her neighbors. Soon, David had a steady group of clients, each paying him $1. The small earnings added up, and he eventually saved enough to buy his first bicycle, which he used to expand his business further. Lesson: no job is too small if approached with dedication and the right mindset. Small efforts can compound into significant results over time. Story 8. Reverse Psychology and the Noisy Kids. An elderly man named Jacob lived near a school. Every afternoon, a group of kids would play outside, kicking trash cans and creating a ruckus. Instead of scolding them, Jacob approached the kids with a smile and said, "You kids play so well. I enjoy watching you. If you come here every day, I'll give each of you $10. The kids were thrilled and returned daily, eager to receive their money. After a few days, Jacob said, "I've had some financial setbacks. I can only pay you $5 now." Disappointed, the kids continued playing, but with less enthusiasm. A week later, Jacob said, "I'm sorry, but I can only afford $2 now." One of the kids exclaimed, "$2? We're not playing here for that." The kids left, and Jacob enjoyed peace and quiet once again. Lesson: sometimes indirect methods like reverse psychology can yield better results than direct confrontation. Understanding human behavior is key to solving problems effectively. Story 9. The Distraction of the Squirrel. A group of hunters chased a squirrel into a hollow tree. While they were waiting for the squirrel to reappear, a rabbit darted out from the same hole. Startled, the hunters turned their attention to the rabbit. They chased it across the field, but in their excitement, they lost sight of the squirrel. The squirrel, unnoticed, quietly slipped away to safety. Lesson: focus is critical. Don't let distractions pull you away from your main goal. Success often depends on maintaining clarity and dedication to what truly matters. Story 10. The Father's Clever Wake-Up Call. One late evening, Mr. Brown returned home without his house key. He rang the doorbell, but no one woke up. He knocked loudly, but his family remained fast asleep. Frustrated, he paused to think. Then he cupped his hands and mimicked his child's voice, softly saying, "Mom, I need to go to the bathroom." Almost instantly, his wife woke up, opened the door, and let him in. Lesson: effective communication means understanding what motivates others. To lead or persuade, you must know how to appeal to people's priorities and instincts. Story 11. Turning scraps into gold. Years ago, a Jewish entrepreneur named Samuel noticed an opportunity in what others considered useless. When New York City decided to renovate the Statue of Liberty, they discarded heaps of old copper, concrete, and wood. Most saw it as waste, but Samuel saw potential. He purchased the scrap for a modest price and got to work. The copper was melted down and turned into miniature replicas of the statue, sold as souvenirs. The wood and concrete were repurposed into decorative items, and even the dust was bottled and sold as historical relics. Within months, Samuel turned what others saw as trash into millions of dollars. Lesson: creativity and resourcefulness can transform even the most unlikely opportunities into great success. Always look for ways to extract value where others see none. These stories exemplify the wisdom of thinking differently, valuing money rightly, and leveraging creativity for success. If you found value in these stories, subscribe to our channel for more insights. Let's create wealth, one story at a time.